Welcome to Interglobal MTB. In today's video, I'm going to show you how I keep my bikes clean and maintain the drivetrains to get the most mileage out of your chain and cassettes using the dry lube method. But first, you got to get your chain completely clean, so let's go. Alright, so if you've watched a video or two of mine before, it's mostly bike park stuff, a couple of trips. And so basically I figured I'd chime in here and share my experiences and what system I developed to quickly clean my bikes between major maintenance. So almost all of my riding is in the dry, no matter where I'm at really. So what I'm going to show you here is not very useful if you're in the UK or the Pacific Northwest where you're riding in the wet all the time. If you are, these things will clean your bike, but you have to develop some sort of, you just find what lube works for you. Once you get the dry lube method going and you've got your chain completely clean and now you've lubed it and you're working with this each time you clean the bike, it stays a lot cleaner and it's a lot easier to clean. So I use Finish Line dry lube. It can last a good 80 to 100 miles between cleanings before it starts sounding dry again. So this is important. The key to this working is to let it dry before you go ride. I mean, like 12 to 24 hours. Otherwise, it completely defeats the purpose because you start to ride and it just works its way out of the inside of the rollers and it starts sounding dry again like 8 or 10 miles into it. So the bike, this is a 2022 Stump Jumper. Fox and XTR build, weighs about 25.5 pounds. I like it. The tools for the job. We got an old toothbrush, grocery store dish brush, and then of course the Finish Line chain cleaner itself. The brushes can be replaced when they wear out, kind of like these are. The cleaner body here, this one's lasted me 2.5 years until I stepped on it and broke it making the video. I've tried various bike-specific cleaner products and they work, but I found Simple Green to be the best balance between cost and effectiveness. It's $22 for the 2.5 gallon jug at Lowe's. I use a smaller 1 gallon jug for easier handling and also use it diluted in a spray bottle for pretty much any other cleaning duties. So for washing the bike and getting this all wet, I use an old work stand. It was my first work stand years ago, so I don't care about it getting wet and messed up. So we take the chain cleaner with the Simple Green in it and give it a couple of turns just to get some in there and then let it sit for a few minutes. So come back and I do like 50 turns and then take it off, rinse it, put some more cleaner in there and do 50 more. And that pretty much gets all of it. Take the kitchen brush, dish brush, whatever you want to call it, and start letting that thing brush. Remove the chain out of the way. Get the ones that were behind the chain. Then you take the toothbrush and rotate the cranks backwards and let the toothbrush clean the teeth. All right, once all that's done, give it a final rinse and whatever else you need to clean on it. And then I usually take it inside and grab the air compressor, get all the nooks and crannies around the whole bike, you know, because it's all wet. The main thing is to get the chain dry. So I brace the nozzle up against something and just keep going until no more water's coming out. This works pretty good too, doing it like this. Psst. Psst. Let me speed this up. It's a little too exciting to let it play. All right, so to lube the chain, we'll grab the Finish Line Dry Lube and you'll brace your hand up against something to aim. Okay, I don't usually spill it like that, but I was trying to keep my arm out of the way so you could see it. So anyway, about 7 turns around of the crank is 2 laps around the chain. You want it inside the rollers, that's where it counts. So I mean, the outside of the chain does nothing. You don't need lube on the outside of the rollers touching the cogs. Anyway, there's plenty in there, so I use this towel sometimes. Maybe I'm doing a little too much here, but anyway, turn the clutch back on a Shimano. Onto the suspension. So we want to get the dirt out of the wipers. So take a little cleaner, get it on the edge of the rag, thread it through the fork brace, and you know, get the dirt out. This works pretty good. So we take some slick oleum here. You can use Judy butter or whatever, but oops, jizzed a little bit out there. So anyway, it's hot, so roll it, rub it, and get it mixed up. Anyway, you want to get the lower third of the stanchions basically coated with this stuff. Then you cycle the suspension, and that draws out the dust and dirt that's in there, a little bit of it anyway. It's kind of satisfying. There's some guck here, and we can just look at that, yeah. And then you definitely want to clean off as much residue as possible on the outside of the fork because it just attracts more dirt. So, you know, again, the cleaner degreases it and gets that off, okay? Then we move on to the shock. Same thing with the shock. Garbage man just went by. Clean that off. And apply some of the slick oleum on there. And then we'll cycle the shock. I run this bike pretty stiff, so it's hard to push. But anyway, not much gut comes out of there on the shock, but anyway, clean it off again, just like the fork. And then we move on to the seat post. Cleaning off the wiper, applying some slick oleum. Is it slick oleum? Yeah, and then get the entire stanchion there, and again, it just needs to be coated, and then cycle it up and down a bunch. It might pull a little dirt out. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. And wipe it down the excess. All right, and now your bike is clean. Go ride it. Hope you got something out of that, and stay tuned for more. Have a good one.